So you're thinking of making a move out to Long Island, and you're mostly focusing your search on Nassau County. Well, in this video, we're going to give you the top 10 towns that we've seen out here in Nassau County that are really acquiring the most demand, and what people really want to see from us when we go out on showings, when you guys contact us. These are the top 10 that we've had to go out there and actually get in the game and be boots on the ground to show. And welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, we are moving to Long Island. We're the #1 relocation team here on Long Island, and if you or your family or your friends are looking to make a move out here in the next 3 days, 3 months, we are happy to get the calls, texts, and emails you guys always send us, and we would love to hear your story, what we can do to help you guys get in the door, and of course, all of our information is in the description below.
So the first town we're going to talk about is Levtown. I've actually sold a few homes in Levtown this year, last year, and 2 years ago. Chris has done some as well. The thing about Levtown to understand is a lot of the homes don't have basements. And another thing about Levtown is that a place that has a lot of parks, a lot of things to do as far as restaurants. If we go over here, actually, we zoom in, you actually are very close to Hempstead Turnpike. And this turnpike actually connects us to a lot of the highways, which is great for transportation. So the thing about Levtown is there's a ton of new constructions coming in. You're talking about those 40 by 100 lots and those 60 by 100 lots really coming in. A lot of the developers are really incentivized to come here and build these massive colonial homes, a lot of times with 1 or even 2 car garages. So this is a town that's really on the rise. So the thing that's really attracting people to this area is the entry-level price point. You could find a home maybe between $575 to $650 that needs some work, but still a home that you could make your own, which makes it, again, very attractive to move into the area as a starter home. And of course, you're also building equity right away, which is a huge plus. Another plus is you're right close to the Nassau County Medical Center, which is actually right close to Levtown on the border with East Meadow. One of the major benefits of living in this town is you have access to the public pool systems, which is included in your monthly and yearly taxes. So one of the most interesting things about this town, it was one of the first towns to ever be built in Long Island. And there's pros and cons to that, right? And let's talk about the pro a second, is that a lot of them don't have basements, so you would see a house that's a big colonial, and right next to it you'll find a smaller home that has a ton of potential. And the benefit to you is if you buy a home that's a ranch, you have a lot of potential for the property to increase in value over the time that you're holding it. So Levtown is one of our favorite entry-level towns to move into in Nassau County.
Okay, so next town we're going to take you to on the list is Merrick. Headed down to the south shore of Nassau County here now. Merrick's known for a lot of things, guys. A lot of extracurricular activities, a lot of activities outside of school, clubs, things to do for the kids. And you're also at a very good location because if you look here, you do have Merrick Road going across the bottom. That's the south shore part. That's like the south side of Merrick. You also do have Sunrise Highway here. So tons of stores, restaurants. That's the service road. You also do have, of course, again, down low, Merrick Road. Now, even at the bottom here, you have very good access to Norman J. Levy Preserve. This is like a park preserve. It's kind of like a hilly terrain where you can go up and hike, have runs during the day. You also do have Merrick Commons, which tons of stores, shopping center. So lots to do as far as shopping and entertainment goes, but how is the housing there? I gotta tell you, average lot size here is about 6,000 square feet. You're looking about like 60 by 100, maybe 50 by 100. So good distance between properties. You also do have a lot of privacy here. These roads tend to be very quiet, very reserved. So definitely a great place to bring a family up. And again, your centralized location is great for your parkways, your highways. So right over here, we do have the Meadowbrook Parkway. A little bit further north, you have the Southern State Parkway. And even just a few minutes down the road over this way, you have the Wantagh Parkway. So you're kind of big three right here. You're able to get into the directions you need to go to, especially if you're a commuter and you want a little bit more space, more privacy for a family. This is a great town to live in if you're going to be doing that, going back and forth to Manhattan in the day and the night. And of course, your beach access. South Shore right here, you've got Jones Beach Island, West Gilgo Beach. Of course, if you do want a little bit of the higher end beaches, you could go across to Point Lookout. You could go across to Long Beach. So definitely plenty to do. You're on the South Shore, very centralized location. And it's a great place to be located. I actually grew up right next door to this town, so love it there. Very biased towards it. I do have a great time out in Merrick. Now, as far as price point goes, when you go into Merrick, it's going to be a little bit on the higher end. It used to be a bit easier to get into this town, but now your starting price point is about $725, $750, and that's going to get you a nice little high ranch there where you have good amount of property, good amount of square footage, maybe around 2,400 square feet. And again, great family town, but that's your entry price point.
So the next town we're going to discuss is Massapequa. You've heard this town a lot because a lot of people, no matter if you're in New York or in another state, they have talked about it because it's a very popular town and there's a lot to do here. So with Massapequa, we do have the preserves where you can go check out. There is a lot of spots for hiking, which is great. And then you do have the shores, right? So you have a lot of activities to do just in that center over there, which is a positive for families. So as opposed to the other towns we've talked about recently, there are larger lot sizes. You're gonna see lot sizes anywhere between that 5,000 lot range all the way up to that maybe even that 10,000 square foot lot range. So in Massapequa, there's a ton to do because you have Merrick Road, you have Sunrise Highway. There's a lot of diversity in terms of restaurants. You got Italian, you got Indian, you got Greek. There's so much diversity, so much to do, whether that's the nightlife, whether that's dining. There's something to do for all ages, whether you're 5 or whether you're 55. This town is also known for having a ton of extracurricular activities for kids, whether that's sports to do or clubs, so they do stay busy and the parents can continue working. Now, Massapequa is more on your higher price point. You're seeing properties ranging from $750,000 to even as close as $1 million. And the reason for that is you're much closer to the bay. You'll find a lot of boats by the canal, and there's a lot to do similar to Levtown, although here you're going to find a lot more nightlife. And again, to reflect on the style of homes, you're going to find a lot of high ranches, a lot of split level ranches, mother-daughter type of setups, which is good for a family member that's coming to visit, let's say for the holidays. But that's mostly the style that you're going to see in Massapequa.
Next on the list is going to be Port Washington, so we're going up to the North Shore here. Now, just look at your surrounding towns because you're in a really good area here. So you have Plandome, you have Great Neck, lots to do, Sands Point. These are your more notable towns in the area. Port Washington, this is going to be on your higher end price point. It may take you around $850,000 to get into this town to begin with, but once you're there, there's a ton to do. Start off with your country clubs. We have Harbor Links Golf Course, North Hempstead Country Club. This is known for being a very exclusive town, a lot of private blocks here. A little bit smaller lot sizes, but when you're in here, of course, you got your train access. And what you can see is you have access to Manhasset Bay. So a lot of boats will park over here. It's a lot of fun things to do on the weekend time around the water and stuff like that. So it's very peaceful lifestyle. Another good thing about this town is Bar Beach. So a lot of the rowing competitions will be had there, the regattas. So entertainment, if you go out on the weekends, it's really a lot to do. But the North Shore living is so different than what we're talking about on the South Shore. A lot of the towns that we mentioned in the past, down on the South Shore, a lot more wavy beach, type of lifestyle. When you go to the North Shore, it's a bit more calm, peaceful waters, sailing, that type of thing. A little bit more charm, a little bit more reserved.
So the next town we have is East Meadow. Price point you're looking at between $650,000 to around $850,000. And what you're really going to see here is a mix of style of homes, whether that's high ranches, colonials, split level homes. This is one of those towns that's developing as well. A lot of new constructions here. Builders do come in here and build massive homes from what was once small ranch homes. So one of the cool things about East Meadow is the Islanders actually practice in this town, so it's pretty good and attractive if you do love hockey. I think it's a pretty cool thing to have there. So another cool thing is you have access to 3 major highways. You have the Meadowbrook over here, you have the Southern State, and then you have the Wantagh Highway here, which is pretty cool because you're in the center of all the major transportation to get where you need to go. On top of that, a lot of small family-run businesses are bringing in their businesses here to expand. And the good thing about that is having those small mom-and-pop little boutique businesses is that you have that diversity, which you don't always see in other towns in Nassau County. So another unique thing about East Meadow is if you zoom in over here, you do have the Memorial Park here, which is pretty nice, peaceful. You do have a lake that you can kind of walk by. If you're lucky, you will also see some geese.
We hope you're enjoying the video, guys. If you are, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment what you want to see next. And of course, if you're making a move to Long Island in the next 3 days, 3 months, we love hearing from you in the calls, the text, the emails, all of our information down in the description below. Be sure to reach out to us if you're making a move out here yourself. Next on the list is going to be Mineola, guys. Now again, we're back in Western Nassau here, so things to do in Mineola. Guys, this is an up-and-coming town. If you just take a look, you have a lot going on here. This is Jericho Turnpike. It's the main road that runs through that town, and you've got just loaded with stores. Of course, 7-Elevens, food markets, Starbucks, pet stores, Jericho Terrace, a wedding venue. So you have a lot going on in this area here. And it's one of the more up-and-coming ones. People don't really focus on it too much, but there's a lot of equity to be had. If you were to buy a house in there now and hold on to it for 5 years, you're going to be seeing a ton of equity in that home. And I attribute most of this to its location. Some of the main roads you have here, again, we just went across Jericho Turnpike. This is going to be Herrick's Road. So this also has a ton of your stores, your shops. There are residential blocks off here as well. And being that you are in Western Nassau, you're going to be seeing a little bit smaller lot sizes here. The price point will go up, but the taxes will droop a little bit lower. So it's definitely going to be evening out your price point here, whether you're paying for it on the price or taxes. Taxes go lower, price point goes a little bit higher because you're closer to the Queens border. Now this area has 2 train stations. Focus here. You have Mineola, Meridian Avenue as well. So they're a little bit separated here, so depending on which side of town you live on, you do have access to a train, and these go right into Manhattan, Penn Station, Grand Central Station. So if you're someone that's commuting, this is another great commuter town. It's definitely in our top 10 for Western Nassau commuter towns. Chaminade High School. And now just to take a peek where you are exactly in location, you have a lot going on around you. You have Belmont Park here, Garden City's close by, so you have a lot of shopping malls there. You have the Roosevelt Field Mall, you have the Garden City Golf Club, so all things that are right close by. Now your starting price point to get into a town like Mineola is going to be around $650,000. That's going to again get you some sort of smaller Cape type of a house where you're going to have maybe 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, potentially a basement as well, but that's your entry-level price point, is around $650,000.
All right, so the next town we're going to discuss is Elmont. In Elmont, one of the first clients I helped was in that location on Caroline Avenue. I helped them purchase the home for $450,000. Now that same home is worth $650,000. And one of the leading causes to the increased growth of the area is the arena that's being built, the UBS Arena, which also now they're building a shopping mall and a big parking center. So if you are still looking to get into Elmont, into a starting area as far as price point, it is possible. And if you buy and hold for at least 5 years, that will increase in value. So I think that's a huge plus. So in this location, you are going to see that $650,000 to $750,000 entry level price point, which you will find a home that you could move into, maybe not completely renovated, but has the bones and has everything there for you to move in and put in that work over time to make it up to speed to the way you want it. So something pretty interesting about Elmont, it has a pretty large cemetery. It's actually called the Maimonides Elmont Cemetery, and people are dying to get in here, right? So what's cool about Elmont is you're very close to transportation on the highway, specifically the Cross Island Parkway right to the left here, which will bring you over pretty quickly to Queens. And with being in Elmont, you're actually one of the first towns in Long Island. So it gives you the flexibility of getting easy access to Manhattan if you don't want to drive all the way, let's say, from Suffolk County. So definitely one of our top 10 commuter towns.
Next on the list is going to be Garden City, guys. So let's zoom in here. A lot to do, okay? Now, you had heard me mention before, we talked about like the Garden City Golf Club. You also have the Garden City Hotel. These are historic sites, guys. This is a very old town. It's an incorporated village, so you do have village taxes. Notably, this is going to be some of the higher taxes for property taxes that you're going to see in any town in Long Island. But you have exclusive schools here, a lot of private blocks, and even if you just look at the lots here, they get a little bit bigger. See the space between houses. So you're getting around 8,000 square foot lots. These are a lot bigger and a lot to do. Now, Franklin Avenue runs right through the village here, so tons to do on there. You have a lot of restaurants, shopping, gyms, tap room, bars. Okay, this is definitely a big town and a big area, of course, for your networking, your shopping, your restaurants, and your entertainment. One thing very notable is going to be a Roosevelt Field Mall, so right in here. This is actually one of the top 10 largest malls in America. So you have a ton to do here, guys. Your Bloomingdale's, your Lululemon, JCPenney, Primark, the AMC Theater. This is going to house every store that you would ever need to get anything from. And that's, of course, right in Garden City. It's on the border of Westbury and Garden City. So that's going to be your biggest shopping mall that we have actually out here on Long Island as a whole. But it's, again, top 10 in the country. And location-wise, you're right here, right off the Meadowbrook Parkway. So your Meadowbrook Parkway runs north and south. So if you need to transfer off, going from the southern state over to the northern state, if you need to get to Manhattan, this is going to be one of your major highways that you will utilize. So again, you're very close in proximity to that. What does it cost to live in this town? Well, I will tell you, it's a very expensive town that we do look at here. The taxes are up and the price point is higher. So you're going to be seeing somewhere around that $1 million price point if you want 4 bedrooms. It is high, it is steep, but again, it's completely worth it because of the exclusivity, the privacy, and of course, the access to all the main roads and the main shopping centers that you're going to want to utilize by living in Nassau County. So Garden City, definitely high on the price point, but well worth it in my opinion.
So the next town we have is New Hyde Park. New Hyde Park is actually very close to my hometown of Great Neck. It's only about a 15-minute drive. I definitely helped a few clients purchase this past year in the area. Home prices you're looking at between $750,000 to $950,000, and actually a lot of working professionals such as doctors and lawyers live in this town because you have close proximity to the hospitals, including Long Island Jewish Hospital. So the thing about this town is that you will find highly elevated price points, but lower to mid taxes because you are closer to that Queens border than you are to that Nassau border, right? So just something to keep in mind. But we always like to say, I mean, you paid in some way, whether that's the price or the taxes, it definitely comes out in some way, shape, or form. So the thing about New Hyde Park is that the closer you get to these Queens areas, the more multifamilies you're going to get, as opposed to Grant and Nassau, Suffolk County, where just on the market right now, there's only 60 to 70 total two-family properties on the market. New Hyde Park is the exception to the rule where you'll find a lot more of those duplexes. This is, again, one of our top 10 commuter towns because of your proximity to the city. It's the ease of travel. You do have the LIR as well.
Last town on the list, this is going to be Salisbury, guys. This is an up-and-coming town. It's right in between your Carl Place, your Westbury, your East Meadow. It kind of wedges itself in there with its very own school district. And the notable thing about this town, the taxes do go up, the price point goes up, but you're still in proximity to everything you wanted if we look about the old towns we talked about before, like a Westbury, a Carl Place, and East Meadow. So just look at where we're at as far as Salisbury here. You've got your Wanto Parkway running north and south. You've got your Meadow Parkway running north and south. You also do have Old Country Road, where your shops, your shopping centers, Nassau University Medical Center, and of course Jericho Turnpike. So this is really a hub centralized for all of your shopping needs, your stores, your groceries, everything that you're going to want to go do. Is very, very centralized. You also do have very close access to Roosevelt Field Mall. This is all within a 10-minute drive of everything around it. So very centralized little hub here. What you will see with the private school districts, a little bit more expensive on your taxes. You will have school taxes here. And your entry price point to get into Salisbury is going to be around that $750,000 range. Yeah, that will get you something like a ranch or a cape or an expanded ranch. Nothing too huge, but there is a lot of new construction coming into this area as well. So builders bringing colonials, bringing in 7-bedroom houses, 8-bedroom houses. You're going to be seeing this town build itself up. If you can get into this town, given on a granted given basis, there's usually about 3 or 4 homes for sale in this town at any given point. Not a lot of inventory, but if you can get into this town, it's a great place to start building that equity right off the jump. You've made it to the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. We are moving to Long Island, the #1 relocation team here in Long Island, and we are happy to get your calls, texts, and emails. You guys are making a move out here, whether it's 3 days out, 3 months out. We're happy to hear from you. And of course, all of our information is down in the description below. Be sure to reach out to us.